Well, let's play off. This game is a particular favorite of mine for a couple reasons. Note, I played this game before, well, I wouldn't say before it burst into popularity, but before I noticed it was popular. At least. So, but, either way. If the text is hard, if this text is hard to read, it's not. I already fixed that. That's just a standard thing most RPG Maker games will do. It is possible that certain scenes in this game are shocking to an unwarned audience. Or maybe not. I personally didn't find anything here too bad, but it's a very morbid game. Especially if you don't know what to expect from it. Also, it's very similar to, also despite not being a horror game, it's very similar to horror games where every single piece of music and sound effect is essential to the atmosphere. So I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible for you to hear the music for this. Now, the default name in here is more of a title that they bring up right at the beginning. But I'm not going to go by that. So, your name is Deekso, correct? Yeah. And boy. The boy-girl thing is just for pronouns. That's all it means. You've been assigned to a being called the Batter. The Batter has an important mission, but be sure that it's accomplished. We will let you out in Zone 0. Good luck. For more information, find the one called the Judge. Now this game, very dark, very deep. And it admits that the fourth wall is kind of, and it straight faces breaking the fourth wall too, which is really interesting. To move this is just, or you can press Z to interact with things. Now, this is Zone 0, otherwise known as Sanctuary, more or less. There cannot be any other living beings in Zone 0, so I assume you are only a mere figment of my imagination. Nevertheless, I will introduce myself. I am the Judge, and I am aching to know your name, dear Surrey interlocutor. I don't know how to pronounce that. If someone knows how to pronounce that, that would be great. I am the Batter. I'm the Batter. I've been assigned to a sacred mission. It is a pleasure. However, it is not the puppet I am addressing, but the puppeteer controlling it. What's your name, dear puppeteer? You are the puppeteer. You are not the Batter. This game is different where you do not play as the protagonist. You do not play as the player character. The player character is the puppeteer. You. The protagonist, on the other hand, never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself. His name is Deekso. He can't talk to us. However, he hears and see. However, he can hear and see everything. Even though you too are but an inexistent aberration in my eyes, let it be said that I am delighted to meet you as well, dear Deekso. I believe we're in need of your services. Many people are in need of my services, you know. Everybody loves cats. Yes, that's a cat. Starting to see what I mean? I hope so. We rub ourselves against their legs and purr in the most insistent manner they adore that. Sorry the music jumped there. I was seeing if I could fix something, but I have to wait till I'm finished recording to make it so I can actually see what my time is mid-recording. Oh well. We rub... Oh yeah. I'm not talking about that kind of help. I see. But what sort of services can I offer to an ectoplasmic entity? He has such a fluent speaking style. I love it. I have a sacred mission to fulfill. I must purify the world. There is no objective more laudable than yours. I accept to serve as a guide through this area, if it is of any help to you. Thanks. Batter kind of flips between being formal and informal. Luck ticket. Allow me to confess that I find you quite tangible for a phantasmagorial being. Might you in fact be a creature of flesh and blood? I think so, yes. Keep in mind, he said, I think so. It won't click till the very end of the game, though. So I have been mistaken from the beginning. Did not even interrupt me in my deluded phantasms. This is relatively bizarre. I must say, for you are the first living being I was given a chance to encounter in this loop. I had in fact concluded that Zone 0 was an empty land. Obviously, I was misled. However, there exist other zones. And in those territories, the risk of hostile individuals attacking you in the most violent manner is quite high. Your sacred mission will likely lead you into those lands. Would you like me to teach you the art of violent confrontation? And this here is the battle screen. As you can observe, you will find yourself placed on the right-hand side of the screen. There are 2 instances in the game where that's not true, but I'll explain those later. Your opponent, however, in this case yours truly, will be located on the left, the correct place for a single battle. At the beginning of combat, you will be confronted with a choice. You will have to decide to attack, auto, or flee. Attack naturally permits you to engage the fight in the most classical fashion. If auto is your decision, the computer will make the strategic choices in your place, making you simply the spectator. Hilariously, auto is technically the canon way to go about it, because then the batter actually does shit. But, whatever. Finally, flee, as it indicates, is the option of a coward. I dehort this alternative. Again, there's one instance late game where you have to run from a fight. But I'll get to that when it arrives. But now, it is time for the offense. Choose attack, select the batter, and choose attack. Attack anew to off me with your bat. Do not utilize the auto function. The computer will not hold back, and I would take the risk of risk of dying, taking my secrets with me to the grave. Excellent, dear sportive companion. You must consider the fact that the batter and the enemy's levels determine the impact of your assaults. It is possible that you or your adversaries could avoid the barrage of attacks that you will throw at each other with slyness. On occasion, your cast iron will get you a critical hit, which will cause teeth to fly in heaps. Let us move on. If you are willing to, you may have noticed that when you chose attack the first time after you select batter, a new window opened itself on the lower right-hand side of the screen. There you have the choice between new options. Attack leads to a soul strike against a likewise soul adversary. Competence permits you to use one of your special skills. Objects will grant you access to the items you are currently carrying. Finally, you yet again have the opportunity to flee. But remember, solely the batter is responsible for that option in his personal menu. About utilizing an object. Take this luck ticket on and use it on the batter's person with gratitude. Impeccable! Your mastery of battle borders on brilliancy, my friend. But there is one thing we have not yet addressed. I am, of course, talking about competences. They are generally, in layman's terms, special moves. They can trigger surprising effects. This may include a resurgence of health points, or may in and of themselves powerful attacks. Nevertheless, know this. Any use of competences leads to a consumption of competence points. So I may ask that you use these skills sparingly. Once your CP is completely consumed, it will be impossible to carry out heavy assaults. And if you happen to cross swords with a tougher opponent before being able to get more CP, victory will be uncertain. But try it right away. Choose competence and try using the wide angle, which will allow you to analyze your enemy. The Judge, an odd-appearing cryptic cat. You now not only know all about me, but also the art of combat. About the wide angle, know that its analysis will always be based on the start of the battle, thus it may accidentally analyze adversaries you've marked out for quite a long time. The confrontation ends, theoretically, when the health points of your team, or all of your opponents, falls to 0. Take good care of your health if you want a successful career in purification. From now on, you will be ready to crush all impure obstacles that get in your luminous mission's way. Well, supposing your intelligence is on the same level with your undeniable capability of dealing bat blows to an innocent cat. But as it may, your training has not reached its end yet. Let me ask you to follow me, if you would still like me as your guide. Anyways, I'm going to the first save point here. Might be a while. I want to do the entirety of Zone 0 at once, but probably not the rest. Ah, yes. To pass through here, you will need to use your cerebral organ, you know. The one bathing flabbily in your tired cranium. I believe those floating blocks correspond to the symbols you can see on the wall in some way or another. This is stupidly easy. Or, stupidly obvious, I mean. Like, really, how could you not figure that out? This one's pretty obvious, too. Is there a problem, my dear pictorial heroes? I am not your janitor. I cannot do everything for you. Nonetheless, may I dare to suggest you wage activating certain ones of these strange floating blocks more than one time, if required. So come, solve this intriguing puzzle for me, and quickly, if you please. I wish to rejoin the ground floor as soon as possible. Yeah, one thing about this game is that you'll very often come across points where you'll be doing these block puzzles, and most of them will require to do a block more than once. Ahaha! Finally! After all that exertion, the eagerly awaited recompense makes its entrance to the scene. And then he eats that and leaves us alone to try and figure out the puzzle on ourselves. As you notice, there are not any clues on the wall this time. Well, come down here. See this? Keep that in mind. 448287C. What does C mean? Let me show you. 44827. Whoa. 448287C. And Judge doesn't even care. This here is an accessory that's going to be essentially helpful to your purifying quest, dear enlightened student and sportive friend. It is a cube hovering in midair, as you've likely noticed. Nonetheless, you will be able to differentiate it from the simpler ones by the contrast of bad taste it imposes on your view of its clashing color, defying any sensible course of plastic arts. There's a very specific reason he said plastic, and you'll understand and you'll probably understand in the next episode or two when we get into Zone 1. However, do not judge it too quickly, because despite its criticizable appearance, this red cube is of undeniable use. Aside from rendering you the entirety of your helping competence points, it is capable of saving your progress and sending you to the nothingness. The nothingness is a new transition outside of space itself, where you can travel from one point to another at the speed of light. I now invite you to try it out in order to discover locations more populous than this deserted land. Open your wings, my dear companion, and hurry towards the following zones without hesitation. Your only enemy is the fear that will grab you. Okay. Do not worry, I do travel a lot through the different zones of the world. We will newly meet each other eventually, without doubt. By the by, take this. This object of a curious name will be the key that permits you to enter Zone 1. Have I clarified? You can at any time consult your inventory and characteristics by pressing escape. One thing I should say, they say to use space and escape to manipulate those. You can use Z and X too. Go ahead. I'm inviting you to try using that floating cube right behind you. Anyways, when we get back, when we get back, I'll show you the nothingness. And when this game ends, we'll get to the plot itself instead of this tutorial zone. Later.